Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea. I hope you're all well. So in this video we're going to be looking at some software based awesomeness. A little bit of backstory. Hopefully you know who Dark Glass Electronics are. They make bass amps and pedals that Dave loves, uses them exclusively. I use them here at home on recordings, all that kind of stuff. They teamed up with Neural DSP, who are a software based company, and they brought out the Microtubes series plugins, which were digital versions from scratch, from the ground up, of every component of the pedal, and they are absolutely insane plugins for bass guitar. If you compare the pedal versus the plugin, it really is hard to tell. I'll do a video on this channel as well. Anyway, that's Neural DSP, and what they have just done, which I'm really excited to show you all, is they've brought out a Fortin Nameless suite, which is an amplifier designed by Mike Fortin, who I hope you know. He's a genius, amazing amp designer, and he's brought out pedals as well, and they're most famously used by Massaad, who of course everybody knows who Massaad are. In any case, they've brought out the Fortin Nameless suite by Neural DSP. So what is it? It's a plugin. Essentially, you'll plug your guitar into your DAW. In my case, I'm using the Universal Audio Apollo 8P and Twin, so I'm going to plug straight into my Twin, straight into your DAW, which is Logic in my case, might be Cubase or Pro Tools or whatever else. You load up the plugin in there, and then essentially, you know, if your plugin's turned off, you just hear DI, turn the plugin on, then you get the awesomeness, which is the Fortin Nameless suite. I've got a screen grab going on right now, so hopefully I'll be able to blend the two together in the video to make it a bit clearer of what's going on. But what we're doing is we're running Logic right now with the plugin in there, and let me just show you how the guitar sounds without the plugin. So this is just DI. So obviously it's a DI, sounds pants. But as soon as you turn on the Fortin Nameless suite, and then with, so let me just do a little sweep over the plugin, what you can expect inside, and then we'll do more playing and see how it sounds after. So when you load the plugin into your DAW, this is what you'll get. You'll get the front panel of the amplifier, really straightforward, like a real amp. So you've got on and off, you've got master, presence, bass, middle, and treble, two gains, and then you've got a low and a high. When you're in low gain, only this gain control works, and when you're in high gain, it blends the two together, so you've got more variation over your sort of gain stages, which is really quite cool. It's also worth pointing out that master volume will give you a gain increase as well. And at this point, it's worth mentioning that your input signal and your output signal are quite important. Obviously, with high output humbuckers, your input's going to clip quite badly, so you want to make sure you don't like overdo that. And then on the same on the output, if it's kicking out, you want to lower that so that you're not redlining, so that you can actually have a bit of headroom later on in mixing. In any case, you've also got stereo or mono mode, and then your oversampling, which is essentially resolution of the plugin quality, so like low, medium, or high, depending on your computer's power. Right, next, up here you've got little icons. If we go to the first one, now this is the Fortin Grind, which is a pedal that is essentially, it's like a predetermined frequency booster, tightens up the low end, gives you a little bit more grunt, and the grind pedal is actually an available pedal you can buy from Fortin Amplification. I know the guys from Sugar use that. It's a killer pedal. I don't own it, but I'd like to try it in the flesh. In any case, you've got it here in the plugin, which you can simply switch on and off. We'll demonstrate how that sounds in a bit. Now we move across to the third icon, which is your cabinet. Now, this is one of the coolest bits for me because I'm a huge guitar geek, of course, and I love miking and engineering guitar recordings. And this is nice because it's the kind of thing that up until fairly recently, the only people doing it really intuitively were two notes, in the fact you could, you know, move the microphone around the digital cabinet and really fine tweak your sound. Well, now, you know, stuff's going crazy. People are doing it in plugins at this point, so this is no exception. In the cabinet window, you've got the choice to have 1 or 2 microphones, and you've got a microphone list, as you can see, 57s, 906, 421s, ribbons, all that stuff. Same on this side. Then you've got your position, your distance, mic level, and your pan, and then a phase reversal if you want it, and then of course turning your mic on and off. And you can click and drag these around. As you can see, the further down you go, the further away it goes, and then the closer to, of course, the closer to the cone it is. So it really is kind of like micing up a real cab, and you'll hear the difference depending on where the microphone is placed. Now, I've blended a 906 with a 121, which is essentially posh versions of a 57 and a ribbon, to get a nice tone that I like. And again, it's worth pointing out that there are loads of variations tonally in this plugin, so you really can fine tweak it for what you're wanting. And then it's also worth pointing out that you can load in your own impulse response. So if you have your own speaker impulses, you can actually load those into the plugin, bypass the miking section of this altogether, and run off your favorite IRs, which is just immense because it just opens up another dimension of flexibility. So that I was really happy to see. And yeah, that basically is the overview of the plugin. So you've got your grind section, which is your pedal, your boost in front, your main amp section, and then of course your miking. And the other thing that's worth mentioning is if you do get this plugin, part of capturing or building a plugin for guitar or bass or anything, you might find that when you first load it up, it's quite harsh, quite intense. The reason is, in my opinion, this could be wrong, but I think it's got a lot to do with when you're providing a plugin or, you know, any kind of guitar software, you have to be able to cater for the whole frequency spectrum to be able to get all the information that guitars naturally have, like distorted signals, because it's a clipping signal. It's got loads of high-end frequencies, it's just all over the place. So I think plugins have to capture all that, and they have to do it in such a way that you can tailor it out, because of course you don't always want the fizz in the top. You might want to shelf that, but it's nice that it's there to start with, so you can really mold the sound. That's something that I appreciate when it comes to sound design. With plugins like this, it's also really important. So anyway, let's hear how it sounds. Cool, so now we've had a look at the plugin and the general functionality and features, let's get into some sounds. So at the minute, this is my tone without the Fortin on. Lovely DI, and here we go. So I've kind of adjusted things so that we've got a bit of scope to play. So firstly, this is the difference between the low and the high gain. Only gain 2 knob works on this channel on low gain, as you can hear. This one doesn't do anything. Which I think sounds killer. And then if I lower these down and then we go to high gain, you'll hear how both affect it. Which is really cool because, of course, having the blend of 2 different sort of gains means you can go for, I think gain 1's thicker and punchier and lower, and then gain 2 has got more articulation, so you can really blend in the sound that you want. In any case, I'm going to go back to gain 1 because I know that sound. And next I'm going to show you the grind pedal. So at the minute it's set to halfway, turned off. Let's turn it on. As you can hear, it's pushed the mid-range, really tightened up the low end and got rid of a little bit off the top. It's like a tube screen, but it's more designed for a specific frequency punch, as you can hear. So yeah, it makes a huge difference to the tone. If you play progressive metal and gent and all that kind of stuff, that's a really useful feature. Just for tightening up, especially when you're stacking lots of guitars, if it's an articulate guitar part. Anyway, let's go back, turn this off for a sec, go back to this. One of the things I love so far is just the low end, you know, like digital, anything digital, like plugins and all that stuff, low end tends to be quite either hard to emulate. It's definitely hard to simulate real analog low end, but just to get enough of it and it not overload the frequency spectrum and mess with the plugin too much. And to be fair, this has got tons. I hope that translates. In any case, let's move on to the cabinet. I'm going to turn one cab off so you can just hear the sound of one microphone. So I'm liking the sound of that one. Let's turn on the second mic and show you what that one sounds like. So that's the sound of the second mic. Now when I put the two together, it's the chord definition, really impressive. I mean, I could go on about this for hours. But yeah, so that's basically the sort of how it sounds when you're messing with different parameters. But what I want to try now is, obviously this is a great guitar for like down-tuned brutality, but I just want to see what happens when you play guitar that's sort of more normal. Because it's like a plexi, isn't it? So let's see what happens when you plug in a guitar that is more for plexis. It sounds so good. It's the feel. Ah, it feels and sounds so good. I'm genuinely really impressed. Let's go back to just one gain. So there it is. there is a look at the Fortin Nameless plugin. So my opinion is based around the fact that I never use plugins for guitar tones. I use amplifiers for gigging where I can, and for recording always use tube amps. I always have and always will. I love things like the Kemper and Axe FX and all this kind of stuff. They're all so advanced, they create incredible sounds. This is no exception. I don't know what I was expecting, but when I loaded it up, of course, the first thing I did was grab my baritone and go for some drop A filth, and it sounded really good. I was able to find a tone fast. I was able to move the mics, get everything where I wanted it. So that was impressive. The functionality was simple. The tone was there. And then I suppose for me, the most impressive thing is the fact it's on my laptop. I can take this anywhere in the world. All I need is a little USB interface or anything like that, plug my guitar straight in, and I'm good to go with that kind of sound. For demoing, it's insane. The sound quality, the feel was really the bit that impressed me the most. Just the feel when you're playing and the pick attack and the strings, and just it feels really like, you know, like a Kemper, or like you're listening to an amplifier in a studio and it's coming through the mics into the control room. That's how it feels in the room. So I don't know how they do it, but however they do it, I mean, technology is just mental these days, and this is just a great example of technology being mental these days. I'm really, really impressed, and I think you guys should check this out. I'll put links in the description box below for more information on the Fortin Nameless suite. Thanks to Doug, thank you to Neural DSP for sending this, and of course Fortin Amplifications for making such a beast of a plugin. Thank you all for watching this video. Like, subscribe and share, comment in the comment section, and I will see you all very soon.